Yo guys, what is up? Today this is the semi-finals versus Shrews38, also known as Matthew, also known as it's the coach of the Philadelphia Folk Smash. He had an incredible season, showing that he's an incredible player. He knows how to play this game, he knows how to prepare. He's actually on point with almost everything he does, so definitely check his channel out. There'll be links in the description down below. This is gonna be a very difficult match for me to play. If you want to see my team analysis, my team builder and everything I'm bringing towards this game, check out the in-depth team analysis down in the description below as well. I will quickly go over the team I have for those who don't have the time or don't feel that aren't interested in that. I'm bringing especially defensive Venusaur with Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Knockoff and Synthesis, Life Orb, 4 attacks, Hexerus with EQ, 2 Dragon moves and a Poison Jab for a Whimsicott potentially. Throw is there to take on Mega Sableye with Mold Breaker EQ, Mold Breaker Taunt, Mold Breaker Toxic and Arresto Chesto. Pretty offensive and pretty especially defensive, kind of a weak mid tier. Occaberry, Short Stance Scissor with Bug Bite, Aerial Ace and Bullet Punch. Sash, T-Wave, 3 attacks, Zam, Dazzling Gleam, Ghost move and Psychic move. Shadow Ball and Psychic, yeah. Manaphy is a support Manaphy with Heal Bell, Scald, Energy Ball for a potential Lantern, and U-Turn. The team matchup, my team versus his team. If you watched the analysis yesterday, then you should know that I expected somewhat of a different team, but also somewhat of the team he brings, or he has brought. I expect him to run Lantern, because Lantern can basically pivot around my team very freely. But he didn't bring that, which is potentially a smart move on his end because I did prepare for it. And Manaphy now does not run Toxic, but it does run Energy Ball instead. Also, I expected him to, not run Bronzong mainly. I expect him to run Drapion, and Drapion is a thing that I'm really happy to not see, because Alexam would have been a lot less useful if he did bring the Drapion set. So yeah, he brings Bronzong and Roserade instead, which are the two mons that I kind of didn't expect to bring. Roserade I kind of did in hindsight as well, because I have had a Manaphy versus Roserade match before, if you remember the finals of the last season. And in that team analysis I said that Roserade is almost guaranteed gonna be a check to Manaphy, like an offensive Manaphy. And Roserade is either gonna be a Yachi Berry that way. It could be like the Kuyapa Berry for Psychic, but he does have a lot of like I said, he does have something like Drapion, and a Yachi Berry would have been more logical this way, this round as well. I think maybe not actually. I've not looked into it as much. But also Assault Vest or Choice Scarf could be the potential Roserade sets. So I knew he was gonna bring have either of those to deal with Manaphy, because that would make the most sense to me when I saw this matchup. His Bronzong, not quite sure what he's gonna do. I expect to be like Explosion, to be honest, like a very offensive, because his team looks rather offensive to me. So I expect it to be like an Explosion Bronzong with Stealth Rocks, with maybe Trick Room, something along those lines. Yeah. So my team and his team, I expected him to lead off with Bronzong or with Gengar, because those two seem like the most logical leads on his end. Gengar does a lot of damage to my offensive mons, and I don't know what set he is, so he could definitely be like a Will-O-Wisp set or a Focus set, I don't know, Scarf set. He could be anything, so I did expect that to lead potentially. Or Bronzong for the Stealth Rocks and for the Explosion, and yeah, those shenanigans. But he leads off with his Roserade, and I lead off with my Venusaur, expecting, like I said, one of those two. Roserade, however, is not the best matchup for me to have, because Roserade over here gets extra sensory, it gets in about fire, it gets Giga Drain, Leaf Storm, and moves along those lines. So yeah, I don't really have a lot of switches to this. But Matthew over here took quite a long time with this first play, because in his video he said he was kind of freaking out because he was in the playoffs and it was versus me, and he was kind of doubting himself in what play he had to make. And I clicked, I was kind of like the same, not stressed out I want to say, but I was a little bit nervous, I guess. It's not really nervous, but I had to calm myself down a little bit, like mentally prepare myself for this game. And it took a little bit longer than, he took a little bit longer than I expected him to do. giving me time to think about my play. And I was like, because I switched into Scissor mainly in the first turn, but with me thinking about my play and with me calling the damage from the worst potential possible case, which was a Life Orb Extra Sensory, I knew that I could live a Life Orb Extra Sensory and a normal hitting Extra Sensory from a Timid or a Modest, I think a Modest as well, Rose Raid, meaning that I went for the knockoff. That's my best play. And he goes for the Hidden Power Fire, expecting me to switch in Scissor, expecting him to go for the Extra Sensory. And this works out greatly for me because I knock off his Choice Scarf, which is fantastic because he's no longer able to surprise me with his Scarfness and shit like that. I switch into Scissor on the next turn, expecting to go for Extra Sensory this time because he if him going for another Hidden Power Fire would lose him a lot of momentum. So yeah. And he does actually go for the Extra Sensory, does nothing, does 16%. Now I predict him to go for the switch into something like Bronzong or his Blaziken, so I go for the Bug Bite. But he makes a good play staying in, expecting me to do so, because I lose a lot of momentum if he does go for one of those plays. Into Bronzong he would get up 3 Stealth Rocks and yeah, you know, shit like that. So he makes a good play and goes for the Hidden Power Fire, expecting me to take me out. He does 81.8%, the max roll was 83%, 82.5% or something, so he almost got a max roll, so I wouldn't have died to this hit regardless, so that's not hex or anything. So luckily for me, I didn't clock that, but it was in hindsight pretty lucky. But yeah, I am able to take down the Rose Raid, which is kind of good because Rose Raid could have been a problem to my team because my Manaphy is not max speed, is not capable of dealing with his Rose Raid or anything, so and also his Rose Raid was speedy enough to outspeed an Adamant Hexpress, so that was the thing as well, so it was kind of speedy. I did have, of course, Alexam to take him down, or the Bullet Pens from Scissor still, but yeah. He goes for the Sableye, trying to get his Sableye Mega Evolution off as quickly as possible. He goes for the Shadow Snake. I predict him to go for something along those lines. If he gone for the Will-O-Wisp, in my opinion, would have been a better play, in his opinion as well. But if he went for the Will-O-Wisp, I potentially would not have gone for the Toxic because he might have switched out. But because he does go for this play, I am able to get a Toxic off, expecting him to go for the Will-O-Wisp, staying in. And that's crucial. I go for the Taunt in the following turn, kind of expecting him to maybe switch out into Cresselia, as a Sableye cannot touch Throw for that much, really. And especially since, like, the regular Throw set is like Bulk Up with Restlock, and like Knockoff would probably be Knockoff or EQ would be the most logical move to run with that set. So I kinda expect him to fear that, but turns out he doesn't really fear that because that would actually be set up for Throw. I mean, Sableye would be set up for Throw because he doesn't carry Taunt, or he didn't go for Taunt anyway. But yeah, he goes for the Foul Play. He now switches into Cresselia. I could have gone for the Double Toxic or Double Taunt because that was a play that I was considering, but Cresselia is actually a mon that I planned on beating with Throw. Especially since I expect him to be a Subcom mindset with a lot of speed, at least enough speed to outspeed an Adamant max speed Scissor. And he would run, of course, the Hidden Power Fire alongside that because he would have been able to take me down. And he does in fact run Hidden Power Fire, that's just a spoiler alert because he doesn't use it because my team is weakened enough, so he doesn't need Hidden Power Fire. But yeah, I figured he was gonna run that, but he actually is not running that set, which is kind of weird in my opinion. I don't actually agree with that, but it does work out for him since my Scissor is weakened. But yeah, now I have Throw in, I'm rest up, Chest was used, I'm at max health, and if he is like this as I expect him to be, he doesn't do it KO me, and I am able to get off the Taunt and double EQ and Toxic and etc. and be able to, I'm not able to beat him, but I'm able to cripple him, and that's the whole point of Throw at this point because his Sableye is weakened anyway. So I go for the Taunt right here, making him unable to go for his shenanigans with Calm Mind, or if he's not Sub-Calm Mind, go for anything else. But he does go for Psychic and reveals to be a max special attack Cresselia, and this does over 50% to a Throw, and that's bad because now Throw is not able to check this Cresselia, which is unfortunate because I am forced to switch out because otherwise I would have lost Throw, and I go with the Manaphy because of the damage from EQ, which is because he's not max defense, because my Throw was max built to take out max defense Cresselia. at least with the speed, like I said, towards speed, Scissor. Was able to do it KO the substitute, but because he is not that set, I ain't able to one-hit KO substitute as well, but I do leave it at the range where my Menifee is able to take his substitute down with the Scald. And he goes for the side shock because he's stunned, he cannot do anything else. Doing around 25%, yeah, 24 and 25% were the damage rolls. Here I expect him to make a switch out, because I switch him Menifee and he obviously has to think at this point that Menifee is able to deal with this in some way. Especially since Menifee can Tail Glow up, and that would be the Calm Mind Cresselia. Also, if I carry the Toxic, which would have been a thing if I didn't expect Lantern to come, he would have been crippled, and this is definitely his win condition because this thing destroys my whole team. So I don't agree with the play with him staying in at all, but it works out for him because I go for U-turn, does a good chunk of damage, but he stays in and is able to get a Calm Mind off. And this is a big problem because my team is weak to this specific set. Now I go into Alakazam because I need to make I have to play on the Scare factor. Alakazam carries the Encore, potentially carries a Scarf set with Trick, carries Toxic. I could potentially carry all of these moves, so he hopefully gets scared out of with his Cresselia with this, because he obviously has to think I have in some way prepared for this, and not because yeah, why would I get 6 out like Cresselia? I should have prepared for that, and in some way I did, of course, but yeah, I don't have the necessary preparation to guarantee deal with it, because I am forced to go for the T-Wave. T-Wave would have allowed me to outspeed it with Scissor and could have do the massive damage with that, and would have been able to pick it up with Hexers and shit like that. But I go for the T-Wave because that's my best play. If I didn't go for the T-Wave, it would come for the Shadow Ball, but that would have meant that this would have been set up further for me, and yeah, that would be a bad spot and shit. So go for the T-Wave. Unfortunately for me, he switches into his Sableye, meaning that my Alakazam is now crippled. Alakazam obviously usually doesn't, well, I mean, wait a second. Anyway, I turned on the lights, so yeah, it doesn't look as dark in the background. But where did I leave off? It was already 5 minutes ago. Anyway, turn 14. My Alakazam is paralyzed. I think he switched out his Mega Sableye into Gengar. I predict this because I know that Mega Sableye is wary of the Dazzling Gleam from Alakazam, because it does get Dazzling Gleam, and I'm running Dazzling Gleam. And I know that Matthew is a player that makes plays like this because he expects me to go for the Dazzling Gleam, and he makes the play into his offensive mon like Gengar to scare out my mons on my team, and yeah, etc. etc. I also, the Shadow Ball, I go for Shadow Ball like you can see here. I also go for the Shadow Ball because I predict him to go for the Bronzong potentially if he wants to make a more safe play. As you can see, I barely KO the Gengar, and that's because I kind of overestimated Alakazam. Or underestimated Gengar, of course. That could potentially be a thing as well. Because I was convinced it was just OHKO Gengar at this range, like even at full health. But turns out it's only a 19% roll to OHKO it at that range, so I cannot be mad at not KOing at this point. But it is kind of unfortunate because getting rid of Gengar would have been huge, because Gengar is the fastest man on his team and it would free up a lot of space for Hexers to pull and put in the work. Actually, it would have just almost cleared up his whole team. So yeah, he is able to live, and I'm scared out because I still have the Heal Bell and Menifee to get rid of Paralyze, and I don't want to get paralyzed either way because yeah, I don't want to leave this up to Hex. And also my best play is just to sack off Throw, because Throw is obviously set up for Cresselia, so I do not want to keep Throw around having it as a liability mainly. So I switched out to Throw, sacking it off. I was pretty sure he wasn't going to predict me to go sack off Throw and go to Cresselia to set it up on it, but if he would have done that, it would have been very, very scary, and yeah, it would have been bad. Luckily he doesn't do that, so he goes for the Sludge Wave. He cannot switch out into Cresselia because he knows he's gonna go. I can potentially go for the Toxic or whatever, so yeah. And he KOs me. Throw is gone, which is actually a good thing for me. Like I said, it's no longer a liability. He wants to save his Gengar because, of course, it is very fast, very speedy, and very useful. Especially since my Alakazam is now paralyzed. He thinks it's a win condition on his end, mainly. So yeah, what was I saying? Sorry for the freaking pausing, by the way. There is company downstairs, and time they have to go for the bedroom, I pause because I'm scared to come up the stairs and shit. However, don't exactly know where I left off, but he saves his Gengar because it's very useful to him. Because my Alakazam is paralyzed, so he thinks he outspeeds everything on his team, on my team, which is very fair. So yeah, I sacked something up. Yeah, I sacked Throw Off, and I'm going to Venusaur right here because Venusaur is together with Scissor the only ones on my team that actually want to take on Gengar at this point. But Scissor at this point is not the best thing because I have to go for the Will Punch or I have to make a play predicting to switch out, and I would have lost a lot of momentum if I made the wrong play, or I would have lost Scissor if I made the wrong play. Either way, that's not something I wanted to be forced into. So I go into Venusaur. Worst case scenario, in my opinion, was going to be if he is like Destiny Bond or if he's like Pain Split. If he's Pain Split, I can still KO with Knockoff, which is the move I go for. But if it was Destiny Bond, I would have lost Venusaur. It would have been kind of annoying, but I could live with it. I have to deal with it. So yeah. So I go for the knockoff and he switches into his Blaziken and I get the Choice Band knocked off, which is crucial because now his Brave Birds do not KO me. I go for the Synthesis discard of what move he's gonna go for. I expect at this point honestly him to go for Flare Blitz or for High Jump Kick. I completely forgot. I mean, I know it gets Brave Bird, but I completely forgot at this point to go Brave Bird, so yeah. Luckily I am able to live that because Venusaur is bulky as shit. And I can sack off Scissor right here because Scissor is not gonna do too much for me except for like have the Bullet Punch in the back. But yeah. I let Scissor go and I can switch into my Manaphy right here. And this is crucial because Manaphy is able to lift the High Jump Kick in case he does want to go for it because he does outspeed me. He doesn't know what side I am yet, so he is scared out by the Scald and me taking him down, so he switches out. I go for the Heal Bell, making sure that my Alakazam is again the fastest team on my team. On the whole, well, both sides of the teams. And he switches in his Sableye to sack. I go for the Scalds, does a decent chunk to him. He goes through Will-O-Wisp, getting a status on me, which is kind of useful for him, because now my U-turns do a lot less damage, which actually comes into play later on a little bit. Could potentially come into play later on. Let's phrase it like that, because as you will see, it doesn't actually come down to it, but I'll explain that to you in a bit. He goes for a double Will-O-Wisp. This might not have been the best place with the Venusaur, but it does work out for me, because as you can see right here, he predicts me to go for the Giga Drain or whatever, or taking him down, but I go for the Synthesis because I do want to have the most health possible, because I don't fear his Sableye at all, so I don't mind if he is recovering up. So I go for Synthesis and I leave myself at 85% health, and his last Brave Bird did 72 or 73%, something along those lines, and with the burn and the Brave Bird damage I die. And that's completely what happens, even though it's showing 30%, but knowing that's gonna happen again, I go for the Sleep Powder and I die to the burn, which is huge because now I can go into Hexers, and this, until this point I was in the back foot for most of the game because he still has a Cresselia at a good amount of health. He still has Bronzong at max health and he has a lot of mounts that just do a lot of damage to my team. And everything that's no longer useful, it's low, and it's basically he's able to sack it whenever, so he doesn't lose the momentum. But this is a crucial turn of the in the battle because I'm sorry, again, someone coming up. So yeah, what I was trying to say before I got rudely interrupted again by people going to the bedroom. Hexerus can potentially run something like Dragon Dance. It can potentially KO it at this point. My Hexerus is not running Dragon Dance, but because he's asleep and it's complete setup for me right now, if I would carry the Dragon Dance, he is pressured to make a play. And as you can see right here, he makes a Gengar switch, and he makes a Gengar switch for one reason. He's trying to play off the Scarf, because I don't know at this point what item he is. He could be Scarfed, he could be something completely different. I wasn't considering him being Scarfed, to be honest, which he thought he was, that I was thinking that. But I wasn't. I was expecting him to be again something like Pain Split with Substitute or Will-O-Wisp or whatever, so I wasn't expecting him to be Scarfed, but it could have worked in his favor. But I make the... actually, to be honest, if he did switch it in and it would work out for him, I might have considered him being Scarfed, but yeah. I go for the EQ, and his Gengar is now dead. And that's crucial because Gengar, like I said, was a humongous threat because it was speedy, it could have KO'd Manaphy. Well, it couldn't have killed, but it would be a win condition in this end because it is fast and it is powerful. But I can KO at this point, which is nice, which is good. And now he lacks like the switch into hexers, because everything on his team is kind of weak to hexers right now. And he has to go into his counter, and his counter is more cowbell, the Bronzong. This Bronzong was, in his eyes, designed to deal with a Dragon Dancing Lumberry Hexers, which was the set he was expecting me to run. Which is why his Sugarberry Levitate and with the Gyro Ball, which would have been a good counter to this, to be fair, yeah. However, it's not a counter to this set. The set he was running makes a lot of sense. I would probably have run the exact same set. It does look cool with the Levitate and the Sugarberry, but yeah, it makes it's complete logic, and yeah, I would have probably done the same thing, to be fair. But the Airball does only 41%, so it's not that much damage, and I can 2-hit KO, even though he has the Sugarberry, 2-hit KO the Cowbell. So that's nice. That actually worked out really well for me. I'm basically currently winning because, like I said, I was on a back foot for almost the entire game, even though I managed to deal with his Resurrect very quickly, very early on in the game. He got a lot of momentum with Cresselia and with, mainly Cresselia actually. But yeah, now I have the momentum back on my feet because Cresselia dies to Outrages, or get weakest to Outrages, and my LXM can clean up. And the Blaziken is asleep, and this guy, the Sableye, is at 6% health. So I'm looking good. So I figured that going for the Outrage is my best play. But he makes a good play. I mean, I wasn't considering it at this point, to be fair. I was thinking I won. But he makes a good play. Sacks off the Blaziken, which was asleep. Goes into his Shadow Sneaking Sableye, sacking his own Sableye off to get the damage off to kill Hexerus. Which is again a good play because my Hexerus is gone, which was the thing that was meant to take on Cresselia from the range it's at. He's at 74%, as you can see. Well, you can't see it. Maybe I showed it, but yeah. I have to go into LXM because my Manaphy is not running Toxic to deal with it. If it did run Toxic, I would have outsped it, as you could see on the previous turn when I U-turned out on the Cresselia and scalded the Cresselia. But I wasn't running that, I was running Energy Ball for the Lantern, unfortunately, because that last minute change would have come into play right here. I would have won guaranteed. I still do win guaranteed, because as you can see the Shadow Ball does 38% damage. That's actually a max roll, which is kind of good, which is fantastic. And I get this Breath Drop as he Calm Minds up. Calm Minding up was his best play, because that would allow him to 2-hit KO me and to take on the next Shadow Ball. And yeah. But I get lucky and I am able to 2-hit KO this, or 3-hit KO this actually, because lefties, and win the game. However, I do want to note that if I wouldn't have gotten the Spread Drop, I do still think I would have won. I would have won 1-0 because I would have lost LXM by the process, but I do think I still would have won. I will hopefully explain it to you as clear as I can. Mainly, basically, this was a max roll, the 38%. The following turn, as you can see, does 34% after he gets lefties and shit. You can see he does 34%. This would have done around 22-23%. Let's go with 23% because I do think the roll for Shadow Ball against a Calm-Minded up Manaphy, this one especially defense, I mean, with it was 22 to 25%, 21.5 to 25%, something. So let's say I would have gotten 22%. I would have done 10% less than you can see right here, so I would have put in 19%. He would have gone for a Side Shock, would have 2-hit killed me like I said, got him lefties up, so would have been at 25-26%ish. I would have gotten the another Shadow Ball up, which would have done, well, let's say again 22%, meaning he's at roughly 5%, 6%. After lefties he would have been at 11%, I'm gonna assume, maybe 12 at best, and he would have KO'd my LXM. But at that point my Manaphy would have done enough damage with the Burnt U-turn to KO it, or 2-hit KO it, or with the Scald even to 2-hit KO it as well. And that would have been the outcome of the game. I would have won, but I would have had a Manaphy at around 10% and maybe 15%. Yeah, I think 13%. I think the Side Shock did around 25%, so we put a +1 boost. Would have done 37.5%, let's go with that roll. And with the burn I would have done 50%, so I would have had 13% Manaphy, but I would have won the game. Regardless, unless he crit me, because that would have been bad. But yeah, I do still think if that hex wasn't gonna be wasn't happening in the late game, I would have still won, which is nice. So I didn't need hex to win this game. It did make it a 2-0 instead of a 1-0. But most importantly, I won this game and I am into the finals now. And I'm playing either Merc or Pierre. And I'm not gonna spoil who won that game just yet. You will see in my team analysis who won, because that's the team analysis versus the team I'm gonna play in the finals, of course. But I definitely strongly recommend you to watch the game on either of their channels. I do still wanna explain to you that this match was a fucking hard-fought game. I was on a back foot for the longest time. I didn't know I was capable of winning this game. I tried to play as best as I could, and I do think it pulled through because obviously I won. But Matthew, definitely a good game to you, because this was definitely a hard-fought match. One of the most difficult matches I had to play, especially since your preparation was on point, what you expected was on point, and your plays were actually pretty good as well. No surprise to me, to be honest, because you were 6-1, which is there's a reason why you're 6-1, of course. So yeah. But I ended up on top, and that's crucial because now I have a chance of getting my second season champion, second season in a row actually as well. But yeah, that's all for the next game. Hope you enjoyed this. Leave me a like if you did enjoy this, of course, and also leave me a comment saying what you thought of this game, if you think it could have made a different play, or if you would have made a different play. And yeah, anything. Maybe if you think that I'm gonna win in the finals, or if you think that I'm gonna lose in the finals, then yeah, leave a comment on that as well. And I will see you somewhere later this week, hopefully, where I will play the final game, which is of course already played. But yeah, goodbye for now.